What's up, guys? Wholesome Joe back with finally another video. And you might hear my cat meowing in the background because he's kind of unhappy right now. So don't mind him, he's okay. But if you hear him, that's why. So I'm in my garage. This is where all my 3D printers and stuff are. And this video, I'm here to admit that I was wrong. Yeah, so this is going to be kind of an off the cuff kind of chat. We're going to just talk about why I feel like I can no longer print with the old Bedslinger, Ender 3, CR10, all of those really old. I'm really behind on the printer. You know, I've been making these YouTube videos for quite a while, but unlike a lot of the other creators I see on here, I am still using my Ender 3 and my CR10 to print all of the stuff that you see on this channel, as including the proton packs that I've made, the ghost trap that I am still working on, that I have the pieces, they're all printed, that I need to be working on and start getting those videos out to you guys. And again, just want to take a second, if you've come to my channel because you found my Arduino Ghostbusters videos, because that's the most popular thing on my channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for giving me all of the feedback and coming and asking your questions, and all of the people who have traveled over to my Facebook group as well. I'm glad those videos have helped you guys so much. I had no idea it was going to be as popular as it was when I started making it. I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to be able to add lights and sound to your proton pack without having to spend a lot of money and without having to wait a long time for pre-made kits, and just being able to feel like Egon Spengler and do it yourself. So, you know, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I know that that's why most of you guys are here. You're here for my prop making things and the 3D printing and the Ghostbuster stuff, but I want to branch out and go beyond that. But I feel like I'm kind of like at a, you know, I've hit a glass ceiling with the 3D printing, because in a previous video, I talked about how I thought that the Ender 3s were still like the best budget, beginner friendly printers on the market, because they're cheap and they teach you a lot about how 3D printers work, and you have to tinker with them so you can kind of understand better how 3D printers function, and so you know what to do when they break. The problem is now that I've run into is that we've moved so far beyond that in terms of what is available now for 3D printers, that now I'm going to go back on that statement and say that it is a mistake if you're a beginner to buy any of those printers now. I want to get rid of all of mine. I have already gotten rid of one of my Ender 3s. You can barely even give them away now. People don't want them because they don't want to bother with having to tinker with them. And I would be lying if I told you this week alone, I have spent more time re-leveling the beds. I've replaced nozzles left and right. I've replaced Bowden tube left and right. I've adjusted the extruder gears on all of them multiple times. I've unclogged them. I have this Bowden tube right now for my CR10 that I'm working on. I was already printing half of a Power Rangers helmet. Actually, let me grab that. I was printing this Red Ranger helmet, and every 3D printer knows this struggle. Look how far that got, and it failed at 70 something percent because I don't know. Could have been my cat actually, because the cat was rolling around out here, but the filament stopped extruding, and it was just printing in the air. I mean, it wasn't printing anything. There was no filament coming out because the filament had broken at the extruder. And this is something I had already adjusted. And you see how much of this it printed before it did that. So I'm like, what the heck, man? So I'm really at my wit's end with these old Bedslingers, because I know you can get much better printers now. If you guys have any recommendations on printers that you would recommend to me, I wish I was at a level where I could, you know, be sponsored and have people send me all these printers like I see people on other YouTube channels doing, but I don't, you know, I've not reached that point yet. No one's reached out to me. I would love to test some new printers, so if you're one of those people and you want a small-time YouTuber to review your 3D printer, you know, hit me up. I'll be glad to do it, because I need some new printers, and I don't really have the funds right now to be buying new printers because I have a toddler, and you know, life kind of sucks right now. The world kind of sucks, you know. We won't get into anything further than that, but everything's expensive, including 3D printers. And there's some really good options now. I was looking at some of the Anycubic stuff, the Cobra. I was looking at, I can't really afford the Bamboo Lab stuff right now. I was looking at the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. The only thing I didn't like about that was that you can't, there's no multicolor, and I feel like I want to have the multicolor system now because, you know, like I said, 3D printing has jumped in leaps and bounds since I got the ones that I have. You know, I've been printing with the same Ender 3 that I got when I first started 3D printing, and that was like 6+ years ago at this point. And I really do still like my CR10, especially for the helmets, because it has a bigger print bed, and that would be the last one that I will get rid of. But even it is having so many problems. I thought about buying a BL Touch to get rid of the leveling, because I think I have issues with the leveling, and you hear my cat in the background because he's angry about the 3D printing too. But yeah, I don't think I can continue to produce the level of prints that I want to be able to make, and especially for making content on YouTube, if this is what I have to do all the time, because it's just so frustrating to just constantly have to tinker when there are other printers now that you can just turn on, tell it what to print, and go on about your day. You know, there's cameras and stuff, you can monitor it and all that stuff. So I'm really, you know, at the end, I think these printers are at the end of their life as far as for me. Some people might still disagree with that and still think that these are really good, and they're good machines. They've been good to me, and like I don't have any, you know, complaints about the quality of the printers. I just think as time goes on, they become less and less reliable, and you spend more time tinkering than you do actually printing things. And when you have a full-time job and you're trying to make YouTube videos and you have a toddler and you have other interests, I don't have time to tinker for hours with these things anymore. Like, I have a limited amount of time, and I want to spend the time that I have just printing stuff. So I don't want to make this video very long. Do you think that the CR10s and the Enders are still have value? What should I do with them? Should I just sell them? What other printers would you recommend? I've been looking at the Flash Forge as well. I forget the model name, but I've been looking at that one as well because it was kind of budget friendly as well. I'm looking for budget friendly, not bed slingers. I definitely want to get a Core XY printer to get the faster speed printing, and I don't want to have to level the bed anymore. I don't want to have to tinker with it at all. I just want it to work. So if you have any recommendations for me, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. The trap videos are coming. I'm working on them as fast as I can. I've got other stuff planned as soon as I have time to do it. So thank you for sticking around. If you are a new subscriber, I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot regularly, but that's going to change, especially coming in the new year. So thanks for checking out this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was informative. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And, if you guys are out there printing, keep at it.